Hello, my friends. So, today we have a twofer. And by that, I mean I've already finished one of them by accident. It wasn't an accident. I meant to record though. So, um so here we are. Today's books are both by Charlotte Brown. One of them is The Shadow of Breninsol, and the other is The Favour of Laerus. So, The Shadow of Breninsol is the one that I just finished. And by just finished, I mean today as of recording this, April 17th. Um, I had more recorded for this book actually. However, they just were not adequate. So I'm gonna do like I did with Shots Taken and Tenderheart. The first book's um, review time is gonna be somewhere over here, and then The Favour is gonna be somewhere over here. For those of you who just do not want to hear me yap, which is fair, I do yap a lot. So Breninsol is 372 pages, 31 chapters, and it came out October 6th of 2025. And then The Favour of Laerus came out, or is going to come out May 1st. It has 424-ish pages and 34 chapters. This is a darker fantasy, and when I mean darker fantasy, I mean we are in like the pig squalors, guys. So, content warnings are going to be up on screen for both books. If something does not tickle your fancy, please be kind to yourself or just don't read it. And another note, this book, both books, and the third one, because I believe there's going to be a third one, are written in UK English and not American English. So take that with what you will. So I'm going to start yapping about Breninsol. So buckle up. Okay. So Breninsol. Eleanor is essentially a prostitute. Is there a better word I'm supposed to use there? If there is, like, please educate me, because yeah. But she's a prostitute. She works at a brothel. You know, is what it is. However, Eleanor is also a witch, and she believes that she is the last of her kind. A few things with that. It's mentioned in a couple of different points that the witches lived longer than mortals. And I say that because there are a couple of times where Eleanor was like, it never used to be this way. Or, things have definitely changed. And I think at one point she was talking about a lord, because there was a couple of ballroom scenes. She was talking about a lord, and she was like, I bet I'm older than his mother when she got impregnated with him. So there definitely are hints to that she is older than she seems. And I don't know why. I don't think I've never seen that before, and if I have, I don't remember. But yeah, she's older than she that proclaimed. Eleanor may not actually be her name. There are a couple of points where she gets called Nora, by a couple of people, but that is also not her name. That is just a name that she has been given. And the reason I say that is because there's a specific line in the book that I think said something like, I've been Eleanor for so long that I can't even remember what my old name was, or that she didn't want to remember what her old name was. I have to find that quote somewhere. I wrote my notes in like the dead of night. Sorry. Um, she's also a dry humorist and very sarcastic, I've come to realize. And I love that about her. But she also stays very much inebriated to not deal with the trauma that her past brings. Um, which I'm assuming if you've lived long enough, there would be some significant traumas. Especially with what the witches went through. So, um, I'm gonna. This is a very much a slower read. Um, like if we want to akin it to Darkfire was kind of a slower read in terms of like build up and suspense and whatnot. And I feel like this is kind of on that same level, not with the romance necessarily, because we do get a couple of sex scenes like right off the rip. Um, again, she's a prostitute. This is what she does for money. But there are two. I almost want to call them like male prostitutes, but Milk and Cookie are two guys that live at the brothel with the ladies. Um, and I love whatever the fuck is wrong with Cookie. I'm just going to ignore him. I love whatever the fuck is wrong with Cookie. For this reason alone. And then I've got a couple of notes that have no screenshots attached to them for quotes. So, one of them just goes, "What the fuck are we doing? Going to war? Why are we suiting up, Eleanor? Why are we suiting up, ma'am?" And then another one goes, "And why are we running from the dark man? Other than like your overwhelming need to be alone." Uh, and then we kind of get into the book, and this quote was like had me kind of second looking at, mainly because you know what? Yeah, welcome to the modern times, bitch. Cause what the fuck? That's gonna be a tangent for another day, actually, because I don't have the mental capacity. Um, and then there's this one scene where the Dark Star, as she had so aptly named him, was talking to some of the court ladies, and there's this one bitch there, and I'm gonna call her a bitch because she just, oh my god. There's this one bitch there that was like making fun of whoever was at the piano and kind of shoot her off and started playing. And Eleanor describes it as like being technically perfect, but not emotionally there. Like she just copied and pasted from an instructor's mouth or whatever. And then the Dark Star was like, "Oh, I bet you can't do that," talking to Eleanor. And Eleanor has this internal monologue that was like, "Wait, you realize that courtesans don't have the same level of education as the courtiers, right? Right?" But Eleanor's obviously lived long enough, so I guess she decides to fuck it, right? So she so she hands Dark Star her fucking wine glass. "Hold my wine." Yes. Yes, ma'am. And then their banter afterward. "Well played, darling." Prick. I don't know why that tickles my fancy, but it does. And then the next one, the evil things can only, I don't have the exact quote right in front of me at this current time, but it's on screen. Reading this from Eleanor's perspective kind of hits the nail a little bit harder than it should, only for the sole reason that they think the witches are evil. There's one in their midst. Um, you know, she's tits deep in enemy territory. She's got to play along. And obviously, she's not out there doing things for evil. So it's very much a play on those words, I think. And I think that's where Charlotte is kind of coming from. Because obviously, evil can exist anywhere, even from like the brightest soul. Other than this quote from the Marquise, because what the fuck? Sir, you said a little too deep in the trenches. Are you also uh, Charlotte, I don't know what you were thinking with the sculpture scene. Um, but you have me thinking that either one of them are the unknown artist. Because Eleanor talks like she knows where the material came from, and he's talking about the emotions of the subjects. I'm ignoring him. Of the the subjects, and like the emotions, and he was like, it's kind of a shame and that we don't know who the artist is, and this, that, and the third, and I'm like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Um, and I don't know if you necessarily made this as miscommunication, but I kind of hope not. Um, and in any case, you didn't make it like a big deal to her. Like, it still does eat at her, yes, but it's not like she doesn't run away from everything for it. But at one point, she's at the Marquise's place and she's eavesdropping and she's listening to the bitch again, and was like, the bitch goes, I can't believe the whore showed up, this, that, and the third. I can't believe that he, like, I won the bet or whatever the case may be. And Eleanor's like, bet. Aha. Okay. So if that's setting something up for later, I'm going to cry. And then this final quote that I'm going to show you. He was just like, she goes, you. And the Marquise goes, one of these days, you're going to give me a better greeting. What the fuck is this, sir? She's mad at you, and all you can give her is sass. I hate and love that about you. Okay. The review. I mentioned it earlier. This is a slower read. Um, did I almost get bored a little bit? Almost halfway in? A little bit. Not even gonna cap. But I think that maybe because I'm so used to like almost the high paced versions of books that I'm reading nowadays. So this is no slight to Charlotte. This is no slight to any other author. Um, I think that's kind of where my mind went when I was like starting to get bored, and I'm glad I didn't, because then I finished it. Obviously I'm on the second one, but I think I had to remind myself a little bit that it is a slower read, and so I you know, but it is definitely kind of a slower. I don't know what I was expecting going into it, but And I texted Charlotte this because I'm in a group chat with her like street team. And if anybody does not know what a street team is, it is just essentially where a group of people that just promote books for that specific author. So, but I'm in that group chat and I texted her. I was like, what in the feminine Witcher is this? And I got a couple laughs out of it, actually. I'm proud of myself for that one. Because this does actually feel like a Witcher themed book, just with the female gaze instead of the male gaze. Because instead of Geralt the Grump, we have Eleanor the Badass. But the reason I kind of attribute it to The Witcher is mainly because of how it's kind of, it flows. Because in The Witcher, I feel like, it does take the slower pace and it does kind of it takes a minute to get there. There's nothing wrong with it. But the way that it was described, the way that, some of the stuff came across, spoiler alert, I have not actually read The Witcher yet, but I played the games. So I can kind of see myself walking through the games and being like, okay, I can see this. It's a very bizarre thing, actually. But the detailing is insane. We have a whole lot of stuff about these characters that haven't been solved just yet, but they're getting there. Um, but you truly get the sense of the world around you, and you get a sense of Eleanor as a person, and you get a sense of the Marquise, at least a little bit. So I gave this a 4.25, and that felt right on the dot for me. And I think the reason why I did bump it down a little bit was because it was a little bit slower, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, like I said. That's just because I'm so conditioned to the faster paced stuff. So that's enough rambling from me. I'm on the second book, The Favour of Laerus. So I'm gonna go chew this up now, actually. Hi guys. And I am, hold please. I thought I was more prepared for this and I wasn't. I am like 26% of the way through The Favour of Laerus. And again, it is a slower read. I'm not mad about it, but that's where we're at. So, in the 26% of what I have read, this quote, "You mean you're surprised?" Snap back, Eleanor. And I said it in the earlier segment. She's got a very dry sense of humor, and I'm fucking here for it. I love it. I love it. I also like Worth. He's not a seamstress because he's a man, but the clother. He reminds me of Madame Dubois from Bridgerton. And I don't know why. He just does. Like the way that he acts, I think. And then this quote, Julia's talking about a man. So Eleanor is in Laerus's kitchens with Julia, and like other servants. And Julia, the guys are like, "Oh, so you know about old Bill?" And Julia's like, "Yeah, I know him." And to preface this, Julia is described as a younger person, and Charlotte earlier confirmed that she is not an adult. That makes, and I know Eleanor feels some type of way about it, but that just makes me want to hug the child. No, baby, you should not know about this yet. You should not. No. It's just, I hate that she knows that. And I hate that that was offered to her. Because she's not an adult yet. You know? And then there's one point where Eleanor is kind of like snooping through the library. Not like snooping, but like snooping. Um, and she comes across a notebook with like different words in it. And so I put, is Laerus just trying to get smarter with learning words? Because it like has a word and then it's got tally marks. And I'm like, what are you doing, sir? And it could not even be Laerus's. It could be literally anybody else's. It's just if it makes me giggle a little bit thinking that like this could be Laris's, and he's just trying to get smarter. It's like, yes, I need to write down smart words to sound smart in places that I'm already a big shit in. You know, I think that's what makes me giggle. But yeah, I am 26% of the way through this, ma'am, and some um some of the other people that I'm in the group chat with have already finished, and I'm like, I envy you guys, but also, and they're loving it. So it does definitely have a good reception thus far, at least from what I have seen, which is a good thing because you deserve flowers, ma'am. So back to reading I go. Hi. Um, I may have I may have finished last night. Not last night. What am I talking about? Earlier today. Um, I finished earlier today, and I have thoughts and I have feelings. So we're just gonna roll right into it, right? Um, I don't know why, but Bellamy and Bertie, who are two boys in the kitchens, um, they remind me of the little boys that Pain and Panic kind of become to trick Hercules. I don't know why. And that's the second pop culture reference that I have, like, well, technically it's the third because I attributed it to The Witcher earlier. But that's the like third or fourth pop culture reference I've made when thinking about like these books. Because there's one in a different series. I just, for some reason, every time they came up on page, I was like, that's Pain and Panic. Um, but that's the vibe I got from them. And I love them to death. I love them to death. I told you she wasn't messing. Um, this quote, she made peace with the fact that she is the last of her kind. Did she? No. Because Homegirl is using not drugs. Homegirl is using alcohol to swallow her past. Um, respectfully, I get it, but like, have you really made peace with it? Like, it still very much haunts you, I think. And that's not like a super, 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 super bad thing. It's just one of those things that I'm like, have you made peace with it? Question mark. But I digress. So there is a scene where she's in the streets and she's got herself into a tizzy. Um, she tries to be heroic, ends up getting herself caught in a pickle. It's like a 6-on-1 fight, and there's archers up in the window um and things like that. And she's on her own. So I went, oh, Eleanor, you're so fucked. And then out of nowhere, a handsome stranger comes in and sweeps in and saves the day. Sort of. He gets his ass handed to him a little bit, but that's fine. Um, and then I went, oh, or maybe not. Hello, stranger. And then the next note I put was, Eleanor, you guys really need to stop meeting like this. That scene was really funny to me. Because it's every time they meet, it's you, me. And I love their sarcastic, like, I love how sassy he is because he's like, one of these days, you're going to give me a better greeting. It's like, I love how sassy he is. I love how they banter with each other, even if she's pissed off at him. She calls him a prick. And he just sits there and takes it, almost. It's like, yeah, I know. What are you going to do about it? Um, Top tier banter, top tier conversation, especially between Eleanor and Seb. The conversations in this book are top tier. That's all I have to say. It's witty, it's comfortable, it makes me laugh. Um, but I love how sassy Laerus is because he's just very much of the mindset of like, "Hi, I'm here to infuriate you." Um, him telling her his name, Charlotte, and then her telling him her name, like her actual one. That might be my Roman Empire. Because even after learning his name, like she still calls him Laerus. But like, I feel like that's a very big step. Because not a whole lot of people know his name, and nobody knows her actual name. And it's very. It makes me question a couple of things. First of all, are they going to be in a relationship? She's like trying to fight it because she's like, I'm so much older than him. I'm fucking prostitute. Like, there's no way this is happening. Um and there's this one scene that I'm not too sure how to take it. Not in like a bad way. I'm just, did I read that right? Because they were essentially playing 20 questions. Um and I think at least I think that's when, no, it may have been before. I digress. She asked a question that kind of hit a little close to home for him. It was like, what's in your top drawer? Because it looked different, I guess, to her. And he's like, you're not going to get the answer to that. Charlotte, does he swing both ways? Is that how I was supposed to take that? Or is, or is it the one way? I digress. I mean, it doesn't matter. But, like, I'm curious. Anywho's it's um the phrase that continues from the first book, the tits up, for some reason that is like my favorite thing. Because it's almost like a confidence booster now. Instead of, hey, you need to do your job. You need to smile and show off your assets. Sorry. But like now it's more of a, hey, you got this. And I love that. I really do. Um this word and this conversation made me feel stupid. Okay? Because I didn't know what that word was before today. Um I don't know how to say it, actually. Obsequious? That's not how you say it. Nope. I'm not pulling out a dictionary. Um, but apparently it means obedient or attentive to an excessive degree. And I love that she used innocence. Because it's like, I just want to be a good favor. And he's like, you're fucking kidding me right now, right? Um, so again, part of their banter is just genius. And then you ended that on a cliffhanger, and I don't have the next book in hand. I have a feeling that's like a past lover. Or like a very good friend that she used to know and previously thought dead. Um, and now he's here. And he's related to Laerus. Oh boy. I'm that cliffhanger took me out. I sent it into the group chat. I was like, no, ma'am. You're not allowed to do a cliffhanger like that. And she sent that Homer Simpson meme of him walking back into the shrubs. So, I think we're funny. And I'm still a little. She put my name in there. I read that for the first time and I went, because that's the first time my name's ever been in a book. I'm not okay. I said that to my coworkers and my boss, and I was like, guys, what the hell do I do? I'm in a book. My boss goes, are you okay? And I said, is the appropriate answer no? And he goes, I mean, it's exciting. And I'm like, okay, I'm not okay. I'm still like, and then one of my other coworkers goes, she didn't put the rest of us, sir. But I'm in a book, guys. I don't think I'm going to shut up about that for like the next eternity. So, that being said, the review. Obviously, this is an arc. It comes out May 1st. So again, Charlotte, thank you so much for allowing me to review it before it releases. I did give it a 4.5. I know. I mentioned it earlier. There's like a couple of scenes where it's like spicy, but it's not like we don't have like a whole like spot scene, right? It is still a slow read. It is still very much a world building, very descriptive book. And it works. Excuse me, it works. Because we're getting a whole lot of descriptors about who's around her, what's around her, like her mental it all kind of culminates together. Obviously there are still some questions unanswered. It's a series, guys. She's got to save some material for the next one. But Eleanor is slightly getting more unhinged, more in the fact that the alcohol is not working as much anymore. So we're getting more glimpses into her past, like the traumatic parts of her past. And that's interesting to see because the first book gave us like a couple glimpses, and now we're getting like, I think we've got like 4 or 5 chapters where we are just in the trenches with her. And then we get to see more of Laerus and kind of get to know him a little bit more, because like for the first, I don't know, 75% of the first book, it was just Eleanor. So the conversations, like I said, are sarcastic, they are witty, There's not a whole lot of romance, and I don't know if that's intent or if that's going to come up later or whatever the case may be. Um, but I'm having fun. Um, I'm experiencing this world with her, and it's a good time. If you are more of a fast paced reader, this may be something that you kind of not struggle with, but like you have to relearn how to read a little slower. Because I had to. But it's a good, like, we're starting off very strong. And that next one needs to hurry up and pronto, please, ma'am. Thank you. So, I'm about to go make some horrible life decisions, and I'll see you next time.